The Oshkosh Area Humane Society presents Happy Tales. Brought to you by the following local underwriters: Lakeside Animal Hospital, 235-5040. Provident Financial Consultants, LLC, 230-6898. West Business Services, 920-997-6927.
Hi, welcome to Happy Tales. I'm Cheryl Rosenthal, Communications Coordinator at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society.
And I'm Joni Geiger, the Executive Director.
Today on our show, we're going to be talking about spaying and neutering and pet overpopulation.
Today, Cheryl and I are going to do something a little bit different, where we've actually asked some folks that are in animal welfare to come and visit us and kind of share firsthand some of their knowledge with pet overpopulation.
Before we get started today, I would, however, like to share a few statistics. First of all, for every human being born in a day, there are 7 puppies and kittens born. One dog and her offspring over a 6-year period can produce as many as 67,000 puppies. And one female cat and her offspring in a 7-year period can produce as many as 400,000 kittens. So with that, we want to remind you, it's so important. Please spay and neuter your pet.
I got involved in animal welfare. I worked at a vet clinic in Denver, Colorado, and that vet clinic serviced the local shelter. They took care of dogs that had kennel cough or had parvo, and as part of our training, we had to go to the shelter, and at that point, I couldn't even walk through the shelter without crying, and I didn't want to go, and a woman that I worked with as a groomer suggested that I volunteer there grooming the dogs, because wouldn't matter what their haircuts look like, and it would be a good experience, and I started to do that, and I got addicted. The one thing all of the shelters I've worked for have in common is that there are too many animals coming into them and not enough resources and time and energy to help the animals.
Our situation is located, what would it be, 30 minutes from Green Bay, 40 minutes from Appleton. We are just north of the Shawano area that we see this situation. And people aren't apt to bring, if we have a clinic in town, they won't come to us for vaccinations. We have mastered door to door. We have gone out with 4 or 5 cars vaccinating these animals. When we go house to house, we see the conditions. We see that they need a dog house, that they have a litter of puppies. We'll be back to pick the puppies up when they're 8 weeks old. That's where we see the heartworm is. We actually physically do a snap test. We draw blood out in the field with every dog. We snap the test. Heartworm positive, you'll be back. We give them 6 months of HeartGuard, and we're on our way. We go to the next house and do it again and again until we finally have hit everyone we possibly can in that area.
I got started by, I think what I did was I was looking to adopt a dog. So of course, I went on Pet Finder to look for a homeless dog that I thought I could help. And by looking at all the animals on Pet Finder, I think it just triggered me to say, I want to do something more. There was so many on there that I saw that I wanted to help, and I just felt so, I felt the need to have to do something. And I think that's just where it got started. I ended up finding a dog somewhere out of state and started talking with that particular shelter, and things led from one thing to another, and before you know it, I was helping that one shelter out.
I don't think that the general public has any idea how big the problem is. So many people come into the shelter and they always ask, is this a no-kill animal shelter? Do you have to put animals to sleep ever? They have no idea that animals are being put to sleep in shelters across America simply because there are too many and there aren't enough homes for them. People don't know.
What was our average age?
Average age was 2.4 years. last
life
year.
expectancy for our dogs.
Yes, and we hope to bring that average age up 1 year every year until we get to at least 10 years. You know, that's another sad part of it. A lot of people think, oh, these people don't want any of the dogs spayed and neutered. That's not at all true. But for people that are really on a very limited budget and that are at the poverty level, they absolutely cannot afford the $200 that it takes to, you know, they're scratching to actually put food on the table. In fact, I have come up to more than one house and with a bag of dog food that I know that these people are very poor and they're living on assistance. And I bring the dog food and they say, oh, and one little girl said to me, oh, good, Mommy's making gruel today. Oh, you know, and I said, well, just save the gruel, you know, but today they can have dog food. And so we try to keep a list of places that need dog food, and then those are the same families they are so grateful to get their animals spayed so that they don't have the puppies, and they're becoming educated now that they know that it's just as important that they neuter their male dogs, because the male dog is going to run next door and get the female pregnant.
So that is
Get
also
both
the
of them
mentality
done.
with the hunters,
Yes.
is that they think if they neuter the male, it's not going to be a good hunter. So it won't be able to fill their freezers with meat for the upcoming winter, because they do use a lot of dogs for hunting. So if you tell them if you have a better male, his nose won't be off to the females, he'll come back, and we're slowly seeing that turn around.
I think a lot of people don't spay and neuter their pets because they don't understand the magnitude of the pet overpopulation problem. I think that there's a little ignorance there. They don't realize that if their dog has a litter and they can't find homes for them, that means that there are 5 or 10 other dogs in the community that also aren't going to find homes. I think sometimes maybe cost comes into consideration, so I think that low-cost spay-neuter is a very important program, especially for those who can't afford it financially. I also think that some people are just careless. They own an animal, but they don't take the time to get it to the vet and take proper care of it.
I think the word is getting out, but there's a lot that just don't get it. I mean, you know, there's a lot that don't realize the importance of spaying and neutering their animals. You know, they think, well, you know, my dog, you know, it can't get pregnant by another dog, or, you know, they don't realize that, yes, it can. You know, that other animal can come into your yard and boom, before you know it, you have unwanted puppies. You look in the paper, you see a lot of free puppies. Well, you know, we want to try to eliminate that. We don't want, we want to see less of that, so therefore there's less in the shelters looking for homes, you know.
It is difficult working in an animal shelter. It changes the way you feel about what's going on with animals in the community. It's difficult. There's definitely a pull between wanting to help the people in the community and feeling frustrated about the never-ending incoming animals. There are definitely days when working at the front desk, people just keep coming in, and whether it's a surrendered animal or sometimes even a stray animal, it's really hard to fight back feeling angry at the person who's standing there, but then having to remember that we're here to help them and we're here because they need us, but wishing that that person could feel what I'm feeling and understand what effect that's having on our shelter as a whole. I wish that we could help people understand by dropping off that animal the reaction that has here at the shelter, meaning that maybe somebody might have to be euthanized that day because there are too many. I wish that people could understand that when they drop an animal off. But at the same time, I don't want to share that burden, that stress on them. I want them to feel like they can bring their animal here, so that's a struggle.
We get angry, we get frustrated, we get sad, we cry, we have to walk away and say, well, the next one will be better. The next one will be better.
When you get angry, and you're bound to get angry, you can't help but get angry in this kind of work. And you don't know who you should be angry at sometimes, really. because you talk to the people. It's so easy to criticize people for neglect of animals, and after you talk to them a while, you get to know them, and you get to realize where they're coming from, and they actually don't know a lot of these things. But the thing that's really important when you're in animal welfare work and in a really bad situation like this is you have to have tremendous support. You have to have tremendous support of somebody that is doing the same thing. And people that are working in the shelters and doing this every day, having to euthanize these excess animals every day. But you also have to have, Lisa has been a tremendous support for me because she is out there doing it right on the spot. She's there all the time. I'm back, 50 miles away, and so I can come in and help when I can do it. But she is there all the time. But you need people you can talk to, and still you have to be optimistic, and you can't be talking about what's wrong with the people.